You've all heard of the time capsule, and maybe you've even made one for your children. Well, now there's something new, TimeSpring, a social platform app that enables time release messaging so you can take a photo or video today and schedule it to be delivered to someone at a date in the near future, and the entire family can get involved. I'm here with Felice Bernard, founder of TimeSpring, a social app to tell us all about it. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's so awesome to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
This is so cool. So TimeSpring, that is great. So why don't you start off by telling us about TimeSpring and what it is?
Well, like you said, it's a social and photo sharing app, but instead of sharing a message in real time, you can send a message at a future date.
Okay.
And kind of like a digital time capsule, like you were saying.
Yeah.
And really what this allows us to do is this allows us to share not just in different time frames, but at different ages and even generations.
Yes.
So for example, when I send a TimeSpring message, I can send a message to my daughter. She's only 2. And I can send her a message when she's my age. I'm 31.
Yeah.
And when she's 31, she can get this message from me, and it could be about the cute things that she's doing or saying as a 2-year-old.
That's so great. And they love to see that.
Kids love to see that.
They do.
Like, she could also learn a little bit about where I am in my life and what I could be struggling with or what my challenges are as her parent. And maybe when she gets that message, we could kind of relate on another level between parent and child. And it's really this whole idea of stories and building a legacy that kind of was the catalyst to this whole thing. And in order to really understand what TimeSpring is, it's kind of important to understand why I created it and why it is the way it is. And really the whole inspiration was when I became a parent, my husband and I, we started writing our kids letters. Yeah. We have 3 kids now. 2 years old, 3, and my oldest is going to be 6 soon.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
You got your hands full.
Yeah, I do. And, you know, we kind of envisioned that we'd be giving them these letters at all special times in their lives, but we didn't want to just share the really nice stuff. We also wanted to share kind of the pressures we were feeling at the time, things that they wouldn't be able to understand at 3 years old and 2 years old.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, I'm sure I'm not the only one that wants to share in this way. And there's something to be said about writing a letter in longhand. Yes. That can be special as well, but it's very hard to do. And there could be an easier way, and that's really where TimeSpring kind of came about. And now you fast forward, and we have all these families on the platform, and they're doing the exact same thing. Sharing with children, and it's been pretty exciting.
That is really exciting. It's so cool that you had this idea and that you went for it, and here you are today. And what a very special platform that you've created.
Thank
because families, I believe, are always looking for ways to share with one another and to touch your children's life that way. It's very special. Yeah. So tell us, like, who all is using it?
So parents are definitely on the platform. That I would say a lot of people are sending their children messages, and not just young children too, your older children as well. We have like graduations around the corner, and I mean, once your child is your child, it feels like they're always your baby, but then when they grow up and they have their own family, like, you're still always going to be that parent and child.
Yes.
So we also have grandparents who are loving the technology. And that to me is maybe the most exciting, because these lucky grandchildren who get to have all these messages to look forward to from their grandparent. And we have people that are very open about, you know, they want to be there for every birthday.
Yes.
And they want to send a message. And maybe they'll be around, maybe they won't. But with technology, it's very easy to schedule this. And now with TimeSpring, so grandparents are loving it. And, we have teenagers, young adults, that age group, they actually really enjoy sending messages to themselves and sending their future selves messages.
That is really awesome, yeah.
And I could see why that could be appealing. I like to send messages to myself as well, but whether it's a goal or an ambition of some sort, you can just kind of schedule that out to yourself.
Yeah, and like you were saying, kind of where you are at that time, right?
Yeah.
And remembering that.
And really, when you look to the future, it has this wonderful way of putting things into perspective of where you are today.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you can send messages to yourself. And we also have another group of people that are using TimeSpring, and that's people who are terminally ill or who may have been diagnosed with a terminal illness.
Yeah.
TimeSpring has been doing a lot of advocacy and outreach for ALS specifically, and ALS is 100% a terminal illness, and upon diagnosis you have a 2 to 5 year life expectancy, and the people that are diagnosed, they're in their family years, and a lot of them are leaving behind children, and we know one person can touch a lot of lives. And if anyone's more aware of how precious time is, it's someone who might be coping
terminally
ill, or someone who has had a scare of some sort, or battling something. And it's just so great that we can provide that service for them. So we really welcome it, using the technology in that way as well.
You're using technology in a very special way. I mean, I know we have Facebook and Instagram and such, but that's a very in-the-moment type of program, right? Application. So, let's talk about that, like where we were and where we are today and how you fit in with that.
Well, if we think about how we're sharing today, like you're saying with Facebook and Snapchat and Instagram, and even just the way I'm texting on my phone all the time, it's, we're sharing a lot.
Yeah.
And each year we're statistically sharing more and more.
Yeah.
And
because you're more comfortable with it,
right?
Yes,
absolutely.
Because you're hiding behind the device is what they say.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's good and bad.
Exactly.
But, all that sharing kind of comes to a screeching halt when it comes to sharing with children, because they're just not old enough.
Yes.
And cognitively, they just don't have the maturity yet to understand what you want to say or appreciate what you want to say. So you just kind of have to hold on to photos, or you remember to tell them that story and make sure you share that story with them. And then you take this urge to want to share stories, and you compound that with how many photos and video we're actually taking, and how many are on our phone. And it makes it very difficult to actually share with our children. When I was young and I was feeling nostalgic, I would just go to a photo album that my mom made, or she set aside pictures of just me in a bag. Maybe there was 100 photos, probably not.
Yeah, exactly.
And, it's very hard for me to do that with my kids.
Yes.
I did it for my first. I had this great photo album that was perfect.
Of course.
And then 3 kids later, it's hard to keep up with all of the photos, and also with video, specifically with video. It's very hard to share video in a meaningful way, just by how large the file is even. Even to email a video is a little challenging sometimes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And and TimeSpring can really help with all of that, because you're not only sharing it with the people that should be seeing it, but then when they receive it, that's theirs now. And they can have that video of themselves. And, it's not just all on your phone.
Yes. And that's what happens a lot, I find, with myself. I'm a big picture taker. I'm big on videos. I mean, I have thousands, right?
Yes.
But what am I doing with them?
So TimeSpring's a free application. And upon installing TimeSpring for the first time, what you're going to see when you sign in is an empty wheel. And it's your job to fill that wheel with friends, family, children. And then once that wheel is full and you have all the people that you'd like to send future messages to, it's really not that different than email. You select a person, there's a subject, you would attach that photo or video that you'd like to share. Usually people write very meaningful letters and notes to accompany that video.
Okay.
And you schedule the date, press send.
Okay.
And then on my end, I get that file, I store it for you for whatever amount of time that you prescribed. And it bounces back or unlocks at the time that you set.
Okay.
And we've really made it very easy to even just take a picture on your phone and just send it right to TimeSpring.
Okay.
And you don't have to go through a lot of steps once you've kind of set up who you would like to send these messages to.
Oh, that's great. So let's say I've got my whole family and friends on there. I've decided who I want. Are they too need to download the application?
Yes. In order to receive a TimeSpring message, they would have to download the app, which is why also it's free.
Okay.
So yes, they would be on it as well.
And do you need like an email or anything, or is that all within the app?
You do not need an email address, especially if we're talking about for children.
Yes.
And that was a detail that was very important to me when I was developing it, because you want to just kind of get going with writing your messages.
Yeah.
And you don't want to have to create an email address for a 2-year-old.
Right.
It's just much easier if you actually just leave that email field empty when you're creating a child account.
Right.
And a lot of these messages are 10-year messages.
Yeah.
You have a lot of time
Yeah.
to populate that email field. And then once you do, then all those messages will be waiting and they'll still all be scheduled.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then that's obviously just something when they get older you share with them, and then they can access them.
Once somebody has an email address and their account is activated, that is now their TimeSpring account.
Okay.
And they'll have years worth of messages.
Right.
Just kind of waiting at all special times for them.
Right. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That is
and
so
also
cool.
I should probably mention everything, you can edit everything.
Yes.
You can edit your profiles. If somebody changes an email, I get that question all the time. What happens if somebody changes their email address? Are they still going to get my messages?
Yeah.
And the answer is yes.
Right.
You would just update your email address.
Okay.
And also delivery dates have
You can change that.
You can change delivery dates because we can't predict the future.
Right.
And then we really would, it would be like a time capsule that's buried in the ground. So you can't change it. You need to be able to change and customize the dates.
Yes. You're keeping up with the times.
Yes.
So is it really simple to use because, the elder generation is not really tech savvy? So I'm just thinking of my grandmother, right? So she doesn't have an iPhone. She doesn't know how to use any of this. But me personally hearing this, I would love for her to share information about herself, so I have that.
Yes.
That would be really special. But I want to make sure that it would be very easy for her.
Well, I'm finding that depending on who it is, they have different levels of how comfortable they are with technology, period. So I would say for someone who you would think might not be that comfortable, doesn't have a cell phone, I would say kind of make it your family project. Make sure that she says her stories and that you get these pictures so that not only you have them, but that you can send them along to your children as well, you know?
Right.
And you can, it's pretty easy once you set up. I mean, if you can send an email, like I'm saying, you can definitely send a TimeSpring message.
That's as simple as that.
It's just like sending an email.
That's so great. And so does it matter the size of the file that you would be attaching? Video or?
It does. Actually, right now we do have a 90-second cap on videos.
Okay, that's good to know.
Which might change in the future.
But,
actually, the 5-minute videos, it's actually much harder to store a video that is very, very long.
Right, so if you're taking a video, keep that in mind. If you want to put that on TimeSpring, keep it to 90 seconds.
Or you can have the beginning of your video or portions of your video and kind of edit it out.
Right. Can you edit on TimeSpring?
No, you cannot edit video on TimeSpring yet.
All right. Yeah, that's good to know. So there's 10 ways that was recently published, 10 ways of using TimeSpring. I'd love for you to share that with us.
And I would say there are all sorts of reasons to send a time-released message.
Yeah.
Our most common are parent to child, grandparent to grandchild. We were talking about this send to self is very popular, and it's actually been applied in some school settings as well. Some teenagers were kind of making pledges to not kind of stand against bullying and not be a bystander in bullying. So they would make a pledge, a video pledge, and then they'd send that to their future selves.
Oh, that's cool.
Or you'd have a senior
making you accountable, right?
Oh, yeah. A senior in high school sending a message to their college selves.
Yeah.
So that, like I said, Send Us Up has been really popular. We can't forget about our friends.
No.
You know, some of our friends, we know they're going to be around for a really long time.
Yeah.
So you can send a 2-year message, you can send a 10-year message, and they're going to appreciate that memory.
Right, right. Like
So-
weddings, right? Like how special is that?
And
yeah.
also, like I was gonna say, significant others. You know, all Valentine's Day, your anniversary, Father's Day is coming up.
Oh, yeah.
And it's actually very thoughtful and kind of a little bit romantic when you get a TimeSpring message from someone, because you know they're kind of going that extra mile and showing you that they're thinking about you, even when you're not even expecting it.
Yes. What a beautiful gift.
Yeah, it's really nice,
Yeah,
you know,
special.
to get that. And if it's like a 5-year message, like, oh, I sent that to you 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Posthumous messaging is certainly something that TimeSpring's been used a lot for, like I was saying with ALS.
Yeah.
And a TimeSpring message remains scheduled whether you're here or departed. And I get that question a lot as well. What happens? You know, we walk around thinking we have all the time in the world.
Yes.
And often we don't.
No.
You know?
No, you never know.
And for some, that's a real comfort. You know, we all get on an airplane sometimes, and we have those thoughts. We're like, what if? And TimeSpring is good for that as well.
Right.
On a lighter note, a lot of people have been using TimeSpring for weight loss.
Ah.
Yeah, so they'll be sending
like
a
that.
before and after photos to themselves or to their trainers, or they make 30-day, 60-day, 90-day benchmarks that they're trying to reach on their weight loss journey, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, I like
or
that.
trainers will have all their clients on their wheel and they'll be motivating their clients
Hey, that's
in
great.
and out of the gym.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and it's just a way to kind of stay on track and, like you were saying, kind of stay accountable.
Yes.
And aside from that, I mean, well, we also have multiple, you can send a message to multiple people.
Okay, I like that. Okay.
Yeah, and that was specifically, our users asked us for that. They said, I want to send messages to all my kids. So, like, I've 3 kids, I'll send them all a message.
Yeah.
Or all your grandchildren, or a group of friends.
It does make it easier, I would say. If
Depends on
going
the
back
memory,
to the wedding, right? You know, what I
Yes.
said earlier, if there's a wedding, you could send it to multiple people instead of doing it one person at a time.
Yeah. You can save a family recipe. You know, not too long ago I was cleaning out a drawer and I came across a napkin that had our family sugar cookie recipe.
Okay.
Like our Christmas cookie.
Oh, they shared it with you.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to lose this. So I took
Yeah.
a picture of it and I sent it to all the kids. So in a way, I know it's that I'm probably going to lose that napkin.
Yeah.
So, and you know, that kind of brings up, I run into a lot of people who say that they're just kind of scared of losing things on their phone.
Yes.
And that seems to be a real fear that comes with when everything is on your phone and all your photos. You know, we've all had technology fail us at times.
Yes,
or
we
we've
have.
lost something.
Oh yeah, if you
And
lose your
it's
phone, or
devastating.
it is devastating.
And that's another way that TimeSpring really helps, because you know some of those special moments are already saved in there.
Yeah.
And that message is already scheduled.
One of the great ways I just thought about using TimeSpring is when our kids all do art, right?
Yes.
They all have projects. You want to keep them all. I know I have bins full of them.
Take a picture of it.
Take a picture.
Put them next to it.
Exactly. Or, you know, if you do take a picture of it, you don't have them with it, just send it forward to them. Like, this is what you did in
It
fifth
means a lot to
grade.
them.
Yeah.
Yes, their hard work. Yes,
Because
but it piles up.
it
also.
piles
Yes.
up, and are we really looking back at it per se? And when the kids go back, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, when did I do that? You know, so yeah. Or if
That's
there's a fire or a flood, you know, that too, that could be destroyed.
Yeah,
so,
that's a great way. A great way to use it.
yeah.
And I think, lastly, I would say just even surprising someone is really nice.
Yeah.
Nobody knows that they're going to get a TimeSpring message
Yeah.
until the day of.
Yes.
and to be on the receiving end just feels really good.
Very special.
And even when you just make that connection and someone's on your wheel, you know that they could be sending messages to you and that you have those things to look forward to, it's really quite nice to have that element of surprise as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's kind of like when you get an e-card, you're surprised by it, but this is like so personal and beautiful and sweet. So
yes.
Yeah, I like that. So, a Bergen County girl.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I am a Bergen County girl.
That's great. I want to hear about you.
I grew up in Oakland. I used to teach high school English at Indian Hills High School, which is also in Oakland, the same high school that I went to.
Great. My son is there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I went to Rampo College. I live in Bergen County now, so I guess you could say I am kind of a Bergen County girl.
You're not going anywhere.
I mean, I really like it here, so
it's
maybe
a great place.
Yeah.
It's a great place. So, TimeSpring, you created this incredible app, and you just touched on, you were a teacher.
Yes.
And you were saying how much you love that, but now you've done this amazing thing. So tell us a little more about how that happened for you.
Well, it was a really tough decision for me to leave teaching. I really enjoyed teaching a lot. I was very passionate about it. And I taught American literature. And with that, you end up teaching about the American dream all day long.
Yes, yes.
And it's a great topic for high school students because they're about to embark on that next chapter of college.
Yeah.
And I'm coming into it with this energy day in and day out, and year after year, I was actually starting to resent the topic a little bit. And I think there was a part of me that just was a little envious of the characters I was talking about all day long. I think deep down, I didn't want to talk about it anymore. I did kind of want to create something or build something, and it was really a lot of those experiences that helped me. Like, if I can try to inspire someone else to do it, then I should be able to do it as well.
Absolutely. So, I mean, that's one of the things about my show is celebrating entrepreneurs, and you going after that is just incredible. So, I'd ask you, like, what could you say to our audience about having a dream and going after it?
Well, I would say that you have to sort of get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Very true.
And being outside of your comfort zone. And when you start thinking of something like, maybe I should do this, maybe, and it's just an idea, and then once you make that leap, it's no longer an idea and I'm actually doing this, you just have to get your head screwed on straight.
Yeah.
And you have to just be okay with being outside of your comfort zone, because really that's when all the good things happen. That's when you learn.
Yes.
That's how you grow. And it's really all about growth. It's not really so much about the successes and failures. It's about growth.
Right.
So I would say that.
And you grow through both of them, right? Success and failures.
Absolutely.
So important. And I loved how you put it. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on the show. It's been
Thank you so much for having me.
This is awesome.
Nice.
You're amazing.
Thank you.
I got to tell you, I am definitely going to use TimeSpring.
Great. Yes. Send those messages.
Yeah, I'm excited
Get
about that.
those messages with your grandma.
Yes, very special. So I'm going to reach out to my grandmother and figure that out, because I'll say that one of my grandmothers passed away, and it was such an emptiness not having that, and I want that from my grandmother, that is still alive and with me, and just to share those things with my kids, because I know how special that is. And my grandmother right now has boxes of all these pictures of her kids.
Yes.
And wants to put something together with that. But I don't want to be that person that, now on my phone and saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you again, Felice, for coming on the show and sharing about TimeSpring. What an incredible app and a platform to share with your family. And thank you guys for tuning in. Check in next week to hear about W by Worth and their associates program. Hear how you can be your own boss. And check me out on Instagram, Facebook, and NJ On Air. All right, guys, we'll see you soon.